Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a prong setting for this cloud druzy. All right, we're gonna start with, I have some square stock here. Not sure exactly what size it is, but you need to use something you can see that is going to match well with the back of your stone. Cover a lot, but not be too big and heavy. So I always roll out what I need to exactly the right size that I need. All right, so let's start. We're going to start with the back. And, sorry. I'm just going to make this first curve. I'm going to make it a little bit long, and I'm going to mark this first cut. So what I use here is I have a diamond file, or a triangular shaped diamond file, and I'm just going to make a groove on that line. Basically, I'm making a V cut. Hopefully you can see this. So that when I bend this, it makes a nice clean fold, or bend, sorry. All right, so that is the first bend. We're gonna take, some solder. And solder that closed. Not sure that it got closed. I think I'm gonna have to do that over again. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. So basically what this is fitting this directly to the back of the stone, nice and clean. No pieces fitting out along the edges. Everything is gonna fit just perfectly, hopefully, if we can get this. Now these clouds, if you can make one of these clouds and do this, you can do anything, because this is definitely tricky. I think I was going this way. Okay, so you can see that's not quite right. I'm going to actually mark this as my top. Probably gonna burn off, but let's make that a little bit tighter. You want to work as you're going around, you want to work in the same direction all the way around. Don't go from one side, don't start and then go over there and go over there. Just work your way all the way slowly, all the way around the stone, okay? If it feels sturdy too, you can do your bends and then solder all your joints at once. Sometimes if I feel like I'm gonna have to do a lot of bending, I'll solder them as I go, just so that nothing fails. have annealed this wire. That's super important before you start. It will make your life a lot easier. So I always start with, I go back and fit this, and then I go over here and make sure that's right, and then I go here and adjust this. So fit here, here, and you can see this is still not, this still is not quite right, so spin that up. And then I usually go to the front and I take a look and make sure that I don't have a whole bunch hanging out over the edge. I really don't like that. I think it looks really sloppy. Plus your stone's not going to fit very well. Mark my next cut. Be sure you pay attention to which way, because one time you'll be cutting one side of the wire and then the other time you'll be cutting the other. So, you know, pay attention to that, right? Okay, now I'm going to solder these two so that I can do this next one and not worry about anything breaking or moving around. Nail this a little bit more. Okay. Alrighty. Dry it off. And go back to our fitting again. I like to look at it, like I said, I like to look at it from the front and make sure that everything is right. So keep in mind, I have done this hundreds of times. So be patient, you know, if you don't get it. I would suggest doing something a little bit simpler first. Maybe a square or something like that, that you can get a feel for, you know, what it is that you're doing as far as the bending and the adjusting. These complicated cabochons, like these clouds, are difficult. right, let's solder that one shut. Pretty close, we're pretty close. So now that I've gotten it this far, I'm gonna go ahead and trim off a piece of this and get this big long tail off of there so I can work a little bit easier. So as you can see, it is completely flush with the stone, right? There's not anything sticking out along the edges. Check and double check before you make that final cut. I'm actually going to cut through both pieces here. I'm going to saw that so that I get a nice clean cut there, okay? I'm sawing. I know you can't see that, but I am sawing. Okay, now basically you're going to want to just butt your final solder joint up there, get it nice and clean. And we're going to solder that shut. Too big. Too big. All right. So there is the back plate for this cloud. And now what I do is I look and see if I need to bend anything just a little tiny bit, because these clouds are not especially flat on the back. So I bent this up a little bit to adjust for that. I go through and look at it from all angles and adjust and make sure that everything is supported as best as possible. It's really important that it be supported really securely on the outside edge of the stone, because that's what's going to protect your stone. extra bit of solder on there. Clean that up. You don't have to worry about the back because we're going to clean that. After we set the prongs on. But you'll want to clean up your inside solder joints. You won't be able to get to those later, so make sure you clean up inside here. That's looking pretty groovy tuned. So now I need to figure out where I'm going to put my prongs. So looking at this, I'm probably going, I want to put a prong here on this low part of this stone here. I'm going to put another one here. I'm going to put one in, and then one at each one of these. Actually, I don't think I'm going to put one here. I think I'm just going to put one here and see how that looks, and then I will, if I need to add the other one, I will, but I don't think I'm going to do that right now. So right now we're just looking at 4 prongs. Bear with me just a moment. I need to get some prong material. So I'm using, this is 16 gauge. You could use 14 as well. This is what's laying here on my bench, and it will work perfectly. Well, doesn't need to be a big, huge prong. Okay. All right, there's that. And bear with me just a second while I clean off my soldering brick. Okay. All right, this is the cool part. All right, so what we're gonna do, this is the front of the stone, right? We're gonna flip this over and lay it down on the brick. And using the markings that I made, we're going to press the prongs. So find a place that's not all chewed up. In all the way into the brick, so that all the way down to about like that. Okay. I'm pretty sure that the link to buy these bricks is on that demos and tools list that I posted for you guys from my metalworks class. I'm fairly certain. So if not, let me know and I will get it for you. Okay, there's the 4 prongs right there. So this is just so trick. Okay, so now you just flux and place your solder chips. Okay. just like that, and then you just pull it out of the brick. Quench, and let's see how our little cloud fits, and if we think we need that other prong. I like everything to fit really tight, so sometimes you have to kind of. So the other thing to keep in mind is anytime that you heat metal and then you reheat it, everything moves, right? So you may have to go back and do just a little bit of adjusting of your prong setting and put everything back where it's supposed to be. Because no matter how hard we try, things move. All right? So then what we would do is just trim off the back and finish the back as you would, right? File all those off. And then once you've got this exactly how you want it to be, you would trim and clean up your prongs and get them ready to bend over. But basically, that is your prong setting for a cloud.